Hello and welcome to Ring Talk, episode 14, season 3. I don't know why you put seasons in, Steve. It was a rubbish idea, you and Martin. It's what happens when you're left unattended. Back once again. How's your week been?
Good. Yeah, good. I've just got back. I've just got back from Jersey. I've had a couple of days away, so it's been
Christmas
been good.
markets.
Well, do you know what? You've done what happened, do you? So I always take Trisha to a Christmas market every year, and I've done Berlin, I've done Manchester, Liverpool. So I said, this year I'm going to take you to Jersey because she loves a Christmas market, you know that. Got to Jersey, got the car, done the flight that was delayed about 3 hours, checked in the hotel, said, right, okay, where's the Christmas market? And they said, it finished last Friday.
No way! That is such a Steve Goodwin move, that. So you went to Jersey to look at Argos and stuff?
So I found a pound shop where there were some Christmas decorations, and I said, well, at least I took you to a Christmas shop.
That's amazing.
In your defence, that's a really early finish to a Christmas
I know,
market.
I didn't check the
Yeah, that is actually, to be fair. Yeah. Steve-o, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. So a few things to go through this week. Not loads. We've got a couple of announcements to make in title fights of Goodwin Boxing. Should we start with that?
We have. Shall we? Let's go off.
Yeah, go for it. I'll let you drop the news.
Okay, first one is Brad Pauls. Brad Pauls, who is out of his contract with Wasserman now. He's now a free agent, but we knew what we were doing, and he has a fight on Sky with Tyler Denny for the English middleweight title, which should be towards the end of February. So he's got a big fight for Brad, and this is the crunch. This is the time that Brad has to show what he's made of.
Yeah. It's a tough fight. Tyler Denny's a really good operator. Obviously, we see him lose a close decision to Linus Shadofia. I think Denny's improved from that as well. And Brad will certainly have to bring his A game in it there. But look, Brad's no slouch.
Brilliant fight.
Big puncher. The Ryan Kelly fight, close fight, he come through that as well. That was good experience for Brad. That's a really good fight. Any others?
Well, we've got... Are we announcing the ones, or are we waiting for
Yeah, it's up to you. If they're out in the domain and you want to put them out,
okay, so we've got on the 18th of March, we have Denis Denikachev defending his Southern Area super lightweight title against Tom Ansell on the 18th of March. That's going to be a cracking fight.
Great fight. What's supposed to happen in November?
Yeah, and Dennis was ill.
Yeah, Dennis unfortunately got pushed back, so that's going to be the 18th of March.
Yeah.
Josh, Tom Ansell, Dennis Shadek, it's a proper fight, that.
Yes, it's all the makings for a Southern Area classic for me. Tom likes to come forward, throw nice shots, and then Dennis likes to box on the back foot, but he also likes to get stuck in as well, Dennis. So, yeah, it's all the makings of a really good fight, and one I'm really looking forward to.
I want to make a bit of fuss about that, because I've got a feeling that's one of the fights that could go under the radar, but you really need to keep an eye on that fight. It's a
100%.
really good fight. Any other, Steve, you want to announce?
Okay, 11th of March, we have Lewis Frimpong taking on Conor Adaway for the Southern Area featherweight title. And what a fight that is.
What a fight. Conor Adaway, obviously undefeated down in Plymouth. Lewis Frimpong, who's seen a few times, one of the Frimpong twins. It's just a cracking fight. Conor Adaway, the taller, you expect to be the Ranger boxer, expect him to box long. Frimpong likes to fight.
I think it's a typical... Conor will take the early rounds because of his size and speed, and his bit bigger amateur background. And it's all about if Lewis can come on strong down the stretch and get to Conor later on, and that'll be a really interesting. I think that'll be a bit more tactical than Dennis and Tom, but I think it'll still be an intriguing watch.
It's a great fight. Two of your fighters, Steve. We know Conor and Lewis are a thing. What's the thinking behind those two? Right fight for both of them?
Well, the problem you've got is nobody wants to fight either of them, and they both want to fight for Southern Area title, and there's nobody that stepped up to the plate to fight them. We've tried to make fights with other people. They just they're avoiding it. And I'm not going to mention this, might not be the boxers, might be the managers, but nobody wants to do it. So both of them said, look, if nobody wants to fight either of us, we'll just fight each other. Yeah. And because what they've said is a loss is not the end. They can come back and still become British champions. But this time in their life, they both want to test themselves. So, full credit to both of them. I mean, Lewis is 31 years of age. He's got to get a jiggle on. Yeah. Connor's much younger, so Connor's probably. I mean, Lewis really has to throw it, has to go for it. But full credit to both of them in a great fight. The winner will move on. The loser will come again. There's no real. There's not going to be no real loser out of that fight.
Yeah, no, it's great that these guys want to put their things, want to test themselves, and have a fight. So really looking forward to that. That's the 11th of March.
Move on to the 18th again.
Back onto the 18th.
Peter Merger, our new signing, takes on Ryan Walker for the Southern Area Super Bantamweight title. Again, it's a rematch of a fight that they had many years ago when Ryan Walker was in the home corner with Mickey Amu and Peter Merger wasn't with us. Now Peter Merger's obviously the homeboy, and he's improved a lot since, and he takes on Ryan Walker, who has mixed it at a higher level and tasted defeat a few times since. I mean, again, that's a great fight.
These cards in March are potentially, I know we say it all the time, potentially some of the best we've got. We've got so many titles coming up. Walker walked away the winner that time, the first time round, didn't
Close.
he? Really close fight, really good fight as well. Expected to be very similar the second time around. Josh, who are you picking for that one?
Go back our boy, aren't you? I like Ryan. I was chatting to him at the Adam Azim fight the other day. I like Ryan. We've known him for quite a while, haven't we? But
He's been on our shows. Really nice guy, good boxer as well, good fighter.
Very talented, but I think Peter's got the notice, got the confidence to be in the home corner, so I think he'll edge it.
And he's improved from his first one as well. So that's two title fights.
Southern Area Light Heavyweight title, 11th of March, Paul Brown versus Adrian Martin.
Yeah, so that's 2 on the 11th. Adrian Martin versus Paul Brown. Great fight. Really, really, really good fight.
It's a really good fight. I was getting confused going two from two shows.
we probably in hindsight should have done the 2 shows separately. But Adrian Martin versus Paul Brown, Southern Area Light Heavyweight title. That is on the 11th of March. Adrian obviously had lost his career, lost to Jamani Kimiro.
And Lewis
Surratt, obviously fought for the Southern Area title beforehand. Probably fought at a higher level than Paul Brown. Paul Brown undefeated, but probably Adrian's fought, a higher level opponent than Paul Brown. But it's an interesting fight. Will the confidence of the undefeated fighter carry him through, or will it be the experience of Adrian Martin that wins it on the night?
I don't know. This is a really good question. I think when you speak to Adrian, he not those excuses, but there's reasons for the losses.
Sure.
So when you speak to him outside the interviews and stuff like that, you can understand maybe why there were a couple of losses there. And then the other, but Paul Brown undefeated hasn't really come close to losing. Look good and some good fights. So it's a really, really good fight, and one I honestly don't know how to call.
And Steve, for you again, 2 Goodwin fighters matching against each other. Right fight for both of them, and bigger prizes for.
Well, I mean, to be realistic, when you look at the division, when you look at light heavyweight division, there's some very, very, very good kids sitting in there, including a Chris Sanagar boy called Bryce Goodwin, and Bryce Goodwin won the ABAs.
Yeah.
So
really good boy.
Really good boy. So for Paul and Adrian, it's far better for them to box each other than to fight Bryce Goodrich, who, to be honest, is on paper a much higher level. And you don't want to fight a British English level fighter for a Southern Area title. We've covered this so many times.
All the time, don't want to fight a British level fighter for a Southern Area title.
And that's what you'd be doing with him. And that didn't make a lot of sense. So in this instance, this made the most sense for both boxers. So we made it. And we haven't finished yet. We're working on 1, 2, 3, 4 other potential big fights. Five other potential big fights for March.
There is one other one.
Go on then.
The 11th of March.
Go on.
Sajid Abid.
Oh God, yeah. I'm thinking of the title.
You're thinking title. Is this the eliminator? English eliminator.
A final eliminator.
Final eliminator.
And that's a cracking fight.
Yeah, Sajid Abid versus Mikey Saki.
Rescheduled
for the final English final eliminator in the super lightweight.
Yes.
Super lightweight division. That's a cracking fight. Was supposed to happen in November. Got rescheduled because Mikey Saki got ill in the lead up to the fight. I'll tell you what, these March shows are something else. I mean, that is another cracking fight. You could put that fight on Sky and you'd be happy to see that on an undercard.
I think you could put all these fights I've just mentioned could all be live on Sky and would be
100%
TV worthy.
It's good shows. Ben Shalom, you've got my number if you want to give us a call. We're happy to put those on. You're happy to send the Sky cameras down to the Goodwin shows on the 11th.
Or we'll put them on a Sky show
because there are.
I mean, these are fights that should these are fights that should be on, the opening fight on the Sky Sports card.
All of those we've mentioned there could easily be
Yeah.
there. They're just fantastic fights. But Sujita Bib, Mikey Seki, that's a great fight to come on with. As you said, we're still working on four more titles over the course of those two shows.
Maybe a show on, maybe one to go on the 25th.
So March is going to be epic. Tickets are available for them already via the website if you need to, or via any of the boxes that will be on the show. We'll be announcing that relatively soon. Small Hall Roundup.
Yeah, let's go Small Hall Roundup. There's only one thing to mention at top of the bill for Small Hall.
Go for it.
Michael Mooney done his 100th professional fight.
Let's talk about that for a minute. 100 professional fights. What an achievement. Michael Mooney, congratulations.
Hats off.
Just amazing, isn't it? I mean, there's just not many that get to the 100 club.
No.
But they used to call him mad. They don't. And they used to call him mad. And you must be mad to do 100.
No, they didn't used to. But I think people still do. He's definitely mad on Michael.
He's such a nice fella
He's a
as
nice-
well.
yeah,
But
he's a nice
it
bloke.
just proves how good you have to be a seasoned journeyman, to be able to go in, week out, to get to 100 fights and just have all your faculties intact and everything else like that. He's underrated what he does. His defence is very good. The way he moves around the ring.
And he's totally and utterly with it. He's still got another year or so to go. I think maybe a year or two to go in him. And he's again, he very rarely gets stopped.
And his character as well. He's just got such a great character.
Yeah.
As he's always fun and entertaining. So congratulations, Michael. It's a hell of an achievement at 100 fights. Sorry, Steve, carry on.
No, he done that on the Steve Wood show, and we had Jordan and Robbie up there doing their bits as well. And both of them, Jordan, who's in excess of 100, both of them completed their fights at the weekend, got through comfortably. So, they've got themselves some money for Christmas. On the 11th of Rotherham, Steffi Ball show in Rotherham, Connie Kelsall won the English flyweight title, won a unanimous decision against Ben Norman. So great to see an English title fight on a small show. Well done to Steffi Ball for doing that. And another big landmark on that same show, Lee Connolly retired on his 99th fight. So he didn't want to join the 100 club. He retired at 99. I don't know why that is, but he literally stopped at 99.
I think it actually gives you a different thing if you stop at 99. It sounds better than getting to the 100. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. But Lee Connolly, again, let's give some props to Lee Connolly. What a journeyman. And do you know what? A hell of a fight. Lee Connolly gave people problems. Like, if Lee Connolly came to fight, Lee Connolly...
And only the really, really good ones usually stopped them as well, didn't they? So.
Yeah. I know towards the last year or so he's sort of done the German thing, but before that he was a real handful, wasn't he? So congratulations, almost 100 club, Lee. Happy retirement for you. It's an amazing achievement.
And on the 11th also, Matt Job showing Gateshead. Darryl Sharp beat a 1-0 prospect.
Go on, Darryl. Darryl's still going, is he?
Still going. And another journey. We spoke last week about they're getting wins now, and Darryl Sharp's we're going to give a call out to every journeyman that wins, and Darryl Sharp
motivating journeyman up and down the country.
Just not on our show.
Yeah, we won't call out any
Darryl Sharp came
shows.
out and done his job and beat a 1-0 prospect. And good luck to Darryl for going and getting his win. So fair dues to him. This week, there's a few shows, but without being rude to any of them, we all have these shows. It's all prospect journeyman. Cole Greaves and Errol Johnson run on the 16th. Mervyn Turner down at Harrow on the 17th. I don't know who's on the card because once again, Boxrec, there's no news. We don't know who's fighting really. On the 17th in Scotland, Matty McAllister puts on a card. To be fair to him, he's got 2 Scottish area titles, so well done to Matty McAllister for putting on a good show. And Steve Woods does his Eccles show on the 18th, which is prospect journeyman show. So there's no real big fights on apart from the ones in Scotland at the weekend, but full credit to the promoters for putting on shows on the weekend of the World Cup final.
And I was going to say as well, props to promoters this year in general. All promoters, especially Small Hall, this year, certainly in the middle to back end of the year, has been particularly hard. So props to everyone that's put their money on the line, and this is often a thing that's not talked about. I know promoters are almost as hated as much, just sort of below the Prime Minister and rapist and that kind of stuff. I know there's not many promoter fan clubs out there, but just putting the money on the line week after week. You
Yeah, but normally the criticism comes from those that haven't tried to run a show. And I always say to everybody, and I've said this to, I received, I'm not talking about who it was, I ended up thing with Twitter with somebody, nice chap, but made a statement about promoters shouldn't have minimum ticket requirements. And I said to him, promote a show alongside me. You put the money up for one show, and then if you come back with the same opinion, I will listen to it.
Yeah.
But nobody ever wants to take that challenge up.
No. Look, everybody needs everybody. We need the fighters need us. It works.
I think that's a really valid point. That one annoys me too. Is at the end of the day, if you're not signed by Matchroom, Queensbury, Boxer, Wasserman, they're the four of the TV, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You either don't turn professional, or you have to sell tickets. It's as simple as that. Or you have a sponsor buys your tickets.
Yeah.
In theory, if you're not good enough to turn professional with them, you have to sell tickets.
Yeah.
No one forces these boxers to turn professional.
No. We had this all the time, don't we?
Yeah.
You had boxing with no small hall ticket selling during COVID.
Yeah.
If you get rid of ticket selling, that's what you've got.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Less than 10% of the boxers fighting.
It's not like
very few shows.
It's not like football where money gets stripped down to everyone.
Absolutely.
It gets kept at the top, which is fair enough. That's the way the world works. We're not complaining about that. But when people say boxers shouldn't be on ticket deals, okay, well, they shouldn't be professional then.
Or the argument that they had was, well, if the boxer only sells 20 tickets, the promoter should take the risk and just pay up.
Yeah, but
that was ridiculous.
But there'll be no promoters left in the country.
No one will get signed with that. The one thing I think people miss, and look, we understand that with ticket selling, it's very difficult, and we do. It's something we talk about all the time, ways to make it easier, ways to try and reduce the burden, etc., etc. The one thing that people miss is ticket selling give people the ability to turn professional that might not be able to turn professional if it wasn't there. Like it's a gateway. It's a gateway to bigger and better things. It's a gateway to be able to go to get sponsors and get money for your family and achieve a dream. It's a gateway to write your name in the history. You win a Southern Era title, you go into history books forever.
Yep.
Like, it's the only sport that does that, and ticket selling gives you that opportunity. So I do think there's many bad sides to it, but I do think there's some positives to it.
Exactly, but everyone's got to remember, we do not force anyone to do ticket deals. We do not force anyone to turn over. They can stay amateur if they want, and then try and work up the amateurs to get signed by the big boys before they turn over.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the options they've got. If they want, you have people like Linus, for example, turned over, had nearly 30 odd fights, one majority of them, just probably below the level to get signed by a TV promoter. He's good enough though, but in terms of his amateur, what he achieved.
Yep.
Then he goes on small hall for 3 or 4 years and then works hard and does it. He's the perfect example of why you have to sometimes do the ticket route.
Let's bang on as well. If he turns over at 30 amateur fights, you probably never see Linus Udofia in a boxing ring, in a professional boxing ring. But what's happened now is the ticket selling's allowed him to come on small hall, allow him to grow, profile, improve, and now he's with, he's been TV promoters and bigger and better things hopefully to announce soon. So it's sorry, we went on a bit of a side rant there off your small hall thing, but is that the small hall roundup, Steve?
Small hall roundup over.
Okay, so there wasn't loads of boxing at the weekend, just a Matchroom show. The Leeds First Arena, Josh Warrington versus Alberto Lopez. I couldn't remember if it was Lopez Alberto or Alberto Lopez. Luis Alberto Lopez, really, really close fight. Unfortunately, Josh Warrington just come on the other side of a majority decision. Right decision?
Yeah.
Okay, good. No, it seemed to be that.
It was a close fight. I think if you had Warrington win it, I think it was one of those could have gone either way.
Absolutely.
But Mr. No Way Fight Over wins a close fight.
No, yeah. So we've talked about this a few times. Good point, Josh.
Yes, I thought I'd put him up.
How he said that,
I never said no away fight ever wins a close fight. I said you don't. No, what I said was when you get the cards that are sometimes 8 rounds clear to the home fighter, and you think you never won you don't see a crazy 8 rounds clear to an away fighter. In this instance, I had Warrington losing by 2 or 3 rounds.
Yeah,
he got one drawn scorecard, which you can't argue with. That's how somebody's seen it. I think it's close enough. The other one too, but I agree with Josh. If Warrington had got it, you wouldn't be screaming robbery. You'd probably be going, "Oh, he got one there. I thought the other guy probably nicked it."
Yeah.
But they were close enough to have no problem. I mean, the cards are fair. All 3 cards.
I think when you
Don't deflect. Don't deflect. That's not what we were talking about. I want to go back and find the clip where you went on your little rant, and we were both like, that's maybe a bit over the top.
I can't remember if we cut it out or not. Did we cut it out? I can't remember. But yes, no, he did. But it was good to see. We thought the right man won. It was very close. You are right, Steve. I think if you'd scored it either way, I always use Twitter as a handle to how a fight's gone. It seemed to be quite mixed. It seemed to be majority for Lopez.
Yeah.
But, again, if Warrington... But that's what you want. You want a close fight. And the scorecards, 113, 115, 114, 140, 130, 150. Interestingly, BoxRec has a fan score page card now as well where you can have a look. So the fans submit their scores.
Didn't know that.
And the fans had it 112, 116 to Lopez. So the fans had scored it.
That was probably a bit closer. I was probably Lopez 3 up. So, yeah.
Yes, that was 56 fans' scorecards submitted, and that was the average that it came out.
And I think, do you know what? And I think that will be more indicative of the scores, because when you get boxing fans that are watching and scoring, I believe those cards will be as accurate as any.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've never seen it before on BoxRec until today, just having a look at it, and it's a really interesting thing. The only thing you hope is there's a mixture of it's not just all, it can become a bit of a popularity contest,
correct,
which can sometimes can be.
But that's a fair card as well.
That's a true reflection.
Again. The 4 cards. You've all got to say, and in defence of judges are watching it from one angle on one side of the ring.
Yeah.
And I don't have a problem with there being differentials of scorecards. I have a problem when there is a 118, 110 card, which was quite clearly touch and go. They're the sort of cards I have a problem with.
100%. I completely agree, but I think the other issue is every other sport now that there's computer technology to help the referees or the judges, however you want to call it. We're still the only sport. I know it's the WBC might occasionally use replays.
Yeah.
We're still pretty much the only major sport that doesn't actually use any video assistant referee or however you want to call it.
I'll tell you another thing we don't do the sport with a little bit behind is data analysis. So if you think about football, they have data analysis, do things. If you think about Moneyball, baseball, etc., that kind of thing, we don't have that in boxing. I've always thought about that, about the way, if you had data on which way a boxer moves after they throw a certain punch, as collective, I think it would give you a real good thing. So there's a business idea for those who are out there, those data analysts. That's something we lack in boxing. Ebaine Bridges made her first defence of her IBF World Bantamweight title against fellow Aussie Shannon O'Connell. Great fight.
Was a great fight. Credit to both of them.
Great performance.
Yeah, really good performance. Bridges rocked in the first round. She was hurt. Legs did stiffen. Big right hand, chopping right hand, caught her. Managed to recover, come back, dropped O'Connell in the third round. Which O'Connell by the third round looked knackered, to be fair. Did you see it?
She's 39 though.
Is she?
Yeah, she's 39.
Yeah, so I'd say much more experience, but looked knackered in the third round. And then Ebaine just was too strong.
Full credit to her for what she's done and how she's built a career. And got nothing but respect for her. And she's really forged a career here. And she's tough.
Yeah.
She's one tough woman.
Yeah, she made some smart commercial decisions as well. I think she's promoted herself very well.
I think the whole fight was a good advert for women's boxing, because one of the biggest criticisms I hear from people is that, they pitter patter, no one's ever going to get hurt. But that fight, you say, both got hurt, a big knockdown, under pressure stoppage, wasn't it? So it was real excitement. Like, you wouldn't care if that was male or female. It's just a really good entertaining fight.
I mean, I'd watch an Ebaine Bridges fight over a lot of male fighters.
Yeah. And do you know what as well? Bad blood. We love bad blood in boxing. And they had genuine dislike for each other, and that was the thing that captivates you as well.
But I want to cover talk about women's boxing on the undercard.
Yep.
Shannon Courtney.
Yep. I was going to come on to her, yeah.
Oh, you were going to come on to her?
No.
Well, the reason I thought we could talk at the same time, and I do want to say this, because I have to say it. She's beaten Gemma Rueg 77-75.
Yep.
And she's talking about world titles. Are you serious?
She's a former world champion, isn't she?
Sorry?
So she's a former world
Gemma
champion.
Rueg, but the performance of beating Gemma, and Gemma, for whatever Gemma is, what she is, she's a journeyman of female boxing, a tough woman. But you don't struggle and be one round away from a draw and then start talking about world titles. And, I know she's a former world champion, but that is not a performance that leads you into a world title fight. Although I think what they're going to do, to be fair, they're going to make Shannon Courtenay against Nina Hughes.
Oh, okay.
I think that's why Matchroom has signed Nina Hughes. They haven't signed her because they want her. They've signed her for the title. She obviously done a brilliant performance and went and beat, I think it was Mitchell.
Yeah. Do you think Shannon Courtenay beats Nina Hughes?
But no, because Matchroom just want to make the fight.
Okay.
So what they want to do I think she beats Nina Hughes? Probably not. Probably 50-50 fight. I don't know. But
because Nina Hughes really struggled with... She won it, but she really struggled with Tyson the fight before.
yeah, I mean, I saw against Tyson Gallagher, she wasn't impressive at all. I mean, I think she beat Tyson Gallagher.
But it was a close fight, though.
But it was only because I think Tyson didn't throw enough. And so you wouldn't say Tyson Gallagher's ready for a world title. So... to me, but that's why they've signed Nina Hughes to make the Shannon Courtenay fight. So I think Shannon has a decent chance in that fight. So, but beating Gemma Ruiz at 77-75 does not. That tells me you need some more fights.
The BoxRec scorecard had it 79-73 to Shannon.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, that was the BoxRec score.
Oh, okay.
Fans, but it was only 2 or 3 scorecards from fans there, so a bit of a small.
So you may have a Shannon fan in there and stuff.
Maybe. Has she changed weight? Could you not see the Ebony Bridges Shannon Courtenay rematch?
Yeah, I think that could happen.
Ebony Bridges.
Yeah, they fought.
She stopped. Didn't she? That's Ebony Bridges.
Let me tell you something.
That's what I can see.
Let me tell you, if they fight again, Ebony Bridges wins out all day long.
That's why I think they might make that fight. I can see them making that fight. I've wrote down here Shannon Courtenay rematch. I didn't know whether that was what they're building for. She put them on the undercard of the with Ebony Bridges as well. I can definitely see that.
Yeah, makes sense.
And also, you can justify that world title. You know, you say she's not justify the title.
But all three of them were with Matchroom. So Eddie Hearn just walks away with the winner.
Are they still at the same weight?
That's what I don't know.
They come up in female though. They come up weight. So
yeah, and I didn't know if they were trying to do unification or
yeah,
perhaps. But they may do. They may take the winner of Hughes and Courtenay, the winner of Bridges.
If they're the same weight though.
Yeah.
But even at different weights. But what I'm saying is, if you take, without being disrespectful, Ebony Bridges is capable of going a bit further, in my opinion. I mean, Nina done a brilliant performance against Mitchell. I don't think anybody expected her to win. So.
She's definitely improved.
She's definitely improved. It's just I watched the Tyson Gallagher fight, and it's sort of I was really shocked when she went and beat Mitchell.
Yeah.
It was all, but
well, everyone can have a not so good night.
Yeah.
Felix Cash was back on the undercard as well. I don't want to mention too much. I don't know if you've seen some of the ammo.
I watched it all. Felix Cash was below par.
Yeah, I rate Felix highly.
He is really good. Yeah.
I rate him really highly, but I think his last 2 fights have been a bit of a disappointment.
Yeah.
But I think they've been really poor, actually.
Yeah. I think there's been some things outside the ring as well, hasn't there?
But let me tell you something. If he turns up like against Williams, he gets absolutely wiped out.
Are they going to make that fight, do we think?
Yeah.
Yes, it's been agreed. I think they're deciding whether it's in the US or the UK.
But the Felix Cash who's had his last 2 fights does not win that fight. The Felix Cash at his best probably wins that fight. But Williams is really good.
Yeah.
No, for me, if the Felix Cash that beat Denzel Bentley turns up, he beats Ammo Williams and walks through him.
Yeah,
for me.
It depends.
Yeah, but
absolutely.
But it's still a fight. But he has to be at his best, Felix Cash.
100%.
And to me, he hasn't been at his best for a long time now.
That is it's a really good fight. I'm really looking forward to that one. Like I say, depends on which Felix Cash turns up. That sort of rounds up pretty much the card for the Matchroom card. There's not much going on this week. There's the Boxers show. Is there lots? Yeah, there's not much. I said, so there's not.
It's not a bad little show, is it?
No, but as in there's not many shows on it. Obviously, you've got the boxer Ben Shalom show at the Bournemouth International Centre. Top of the bill. Really good fight, this. Dan Aziz versus Rocky Fielding.
Rocky's 35 now.
I know, but his only losses only ever been against Callum Smith and Sal Alvarez.
Yeah.
If Rocky's got anything left, it creates a good fight. But it's whether he's got anything left in the tank at 35.
That is it. But I looked at it as well. He's been a little bit more active than I thought he'd been.
Has he?
I think
he's had a couple of fights since Alvarez, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I think the last one I saw him was against Alvarez. To be fair,
no, he's kept himself busy.
Yeah, he's not loads and loads, but I think he's had a couple this year, I believe. When I was looking at it, thinking, I was like, because I had heard of Rocky Fielding for ages, it just seemed to drop off the radar. What do we think? If it's the Rocky Fielding got anything left, we think he's got too much for Dan Aziz?
No. I still fancy Dan Aziz.
You think Dan Aziz?
I rate Dan Aziz. I think I think he beats pretty much all the British light heavyweights apart from the ones that are world class.
Yeah. It's a really good fight. It's a really good fight. That's for the British light heavyweight and the Commonwealth title as well. Josh, who are you picking?
Yeah, I'd go Dan Aziz, just younger, fresher. Probably overall better fighter at their stages in the career at the moment.
Do we think it's building Rocky Fielding back, or do we think we're building Dan Aziz?
building Danazees.
I think this is testament to see if Boxer are good at starting, but they haven't started to build fighters yet. Danazees is one of their first projects. It'll be interesting if they've got the call right.
Totally agree with
If
you.
Danazees comes through this, is a really good matchmaking. It's really good plotting and planning because Rocky
Yes, good name
Fielding,
to have on the record.
if he's only lost to Callum Smith and Sal Alvarez, Canelo, and Danazees gets that.
But I totally agree with Josh. They haven't got a track record of building it, have they?
No, it takes time to build that. Right, exactly.
It's not criticism. It's just been an interesting study project.
Chris Whittam-Smith, obviously a great fighter, 16-1. He's against someone whose name I can't pronounce. So
it's sort of a interim building fight again. I mean, you would imagine Chris Whittam-Smith is a headline act in Bournemouth. They want to keep him undefeated. If he gets beat, it's bad matchmaking.
Yeah, it's Corey Gibbs versus Jimmy First. That's a good fight, 17-0 versus 13-0. That'd be interesting. Michael McKinson, obviously a friend of the podcast. He's back out in a six-rounder.
Not Verdi Han anymore.
No, it seems not. Seems he's on the
If you think that's Michael McKinson, Dalton Smith.
Dalton Smith hasn't officially left.
Well, Dalton Smith potentially leaving, and you've got obviously the big wing with the big thing spinning in the news this week again. All these videos of Lawrence Coley.
Oh, did you see his interview he done actually?
Yeah.
What's
Eddie Hearn has repudiated that
I've
interview.
missed
Has
this.
he?
Yeah.
What's this, the Lawrence Cody thing?
So basically, him and Hearn are in contractual dispute at the moment. This is from what I'm listening to their interviews. Eddie Hearn says there's one fight left. Lawrence says the contract expired, I believe, in May. But apparently one of his fights Eddie's claim didn't fall under the contract. This is what Lawrence is saying.
Right.
And so they're in dispute about that, and there's been legal letters sent and stuff like that.
So here we go. So let me explain. So I've listened to all of it. So here's where the argument is. So Lawrence Coley had a 3-fight deal, or whatever it was.
Yep.
And on his third fight, it was a big world title fight. And on that third fight, the opponent pulled out for the world title. So Eddie Hearn said, right, we're going to defer the fight. Normal. Lawrence Coley wanted to fight. So Hearn apparently said, well, look, I'll give you a tick-over fight, but it doesn't form part of the contract. This tick-over fight is just to help you out, but it'll be in addition, and that fight still remains under contract.
Yeah.
According to Eddie Hearn, that is all written in they did a separate contract that week, all signed,
Okay.
which basically said this is an interim fight and the other fight still remains as part of the contract. Apparently all the parties signed and agreed it and then moved on. And what Lawrence is now saying is that that's the fight that was just a keep busy fight because he wanted to fight, formed that part of the contract. Hearn says it doesn't, so that's why it's gone legal.
Okay, it's interesting. No, you didn't hear of it. Hearn didn't have these type of disputes beforehand. It just never happened. Once he was with Sky, he never heard of these things.
There was no better option than Hearn, but people being attracted to the Sky Boxer proposition, aren't they?
And do we think Boxer's a better, personal opinion, this is nothing on Hearn or Boxer, do we think Boxer's the better position?
I'd say, for me, Hearn's, as a promoter, is the best in the country by a country mile.
Yeah.
But in terms of the platform, which, don't forget who the promoter is, you could have my dog promoting on Sky and they still do a good job. Sky are huge. You can't beat Sky.
Yeah.
So, for me...
Especially when they've got the Premier League rights, I think that's the important thing.
Of course. For me, as much as I like Khan, I think he's probably the best promoter and he's got a track record of building fighters. Sky's platform's huge and you've got some good people there, like the John Michel's, and they've got some good backroom staff there. It's doing a good job, so it's an attractive proposition to boxers now.
Interesting. So it's interesting, and so we'll see how that rolls out the Lawrence Coley. Like I say, it's not something we heard with the Hearn beforehand. It's just new. Other things just to mention on the card: Vidal Riley, obviously he's back out again, winning the cruiserweight. Obviously fought Ross McGuigan last time. Caroline Dubois is back out again. I imagine she's just going to beat down on Sofia Rodriguez. And I think that pretty much.
They're the sort of fights that I've no interest in. This is where...
Bit of a poor card to finish the year off.
Yeah, this is where they should have... I mean, they've got one domestic clash there with Corey Gibbs, who's on there because he won their competition, didn't he?
Yeah.
But you could do with... those sort of fights we were just mentioning?
Yeah.
You could do with one or two of them on there to bolster the quality of competition on the card.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's my issue is that... Yeah, but I mean, the problem Sky have got is if you're signing lots of fighters to build, then you've got to have those sort of fights on cards because you're signing them to build them. So it's a decision on Sky as to how many of those type of building fighters they sign.
Yeah.
Because the more they sign, the worse the cards are going to be.
Yeah, because they've got to give them fights and their contracts agreed against it. So it's interesting. We got a ring talk next week, last one of the year. We'll do a roundup of the year. And
We'll do one of the things we do each year, which is we will talk about every single one of our boxers and what we expect of them for next year.
Yeah, that's really good. So that'll be a bit longer because there's a few things to talk about. So we'll bring you that next week as the final of the year. Thank you, as always, for joining us. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. All the normal things to do. It all helps the platform and the channel, so please do that for us. If you've got any questions for us, then please let us know, and we will catch you again next week. Thank you, gentlemen.
Cheers.
Thank you.